music will charm you, 'cause at the moment that's the only charm you can do. I'm like a bard that's coming to a game for you, yeah. And what's this I hear about group mobs? If I see another post about it, I'm going off. Bring the balance back and beat these mobs. Never needed chevrons all along. Yeah, hopefully my lyrics don't leave you a scar before we've had a chance to bring you the scar. I know my rhymes are sharp 'cause I used a stone dropped from a gob. These goblins dropping so much I think I'll build me a hall, yeah. Some may call me a thug, but it's just a bug. I'm working as intended from 9 to 9 to bring you a game that's sublime, yeah. So join a guild or look up builds. Fight in the caves or maybe the streets. The results are the same, our gameplay is peak. Tonight I'm solo, so I ain't going solo. Maybe I'll mine or skin some sheep. Either way I'm dropping this beat, bringing the heat, yeah. Our team may be small, but I say we're sleek. Always on fleek, making good content ain't cheap. But let's get deep, the experience is steep. Perception seems weak, got patches this week was a hell of a feat. I wanna say thank you to all our fans. Taking 20 years wasn't the plan, but here we are. Can't wait to see you all. Joppa to Papa. My name is Joppa, Pantheons. Papa, sit tight while I drop this. Or better yet, your eminence, with a game that's imminent. I call it the year of imminence, yeah. While I sit on my throne of player corpses, I resurrect the sources of the struggle. Think this is a hell level, you must be soulless, yeah. To all the haters that call us a scam, we've got a plan. We're making worlds, not games. So sit back in your high chair with a controller, kid. Let Papa Joppa school you with our old school flow, yeah. It's tough being a king, to follow in the footsteps of Brad, but I'm up to the task, this is rad. Don't feel bad, 'cause I'm doing what I can, yeah. This is Joppa, the Papa of Pantheon. Just skin to fawn, stretching this leather is no feat. Kick back, relax and eat while I feed you my meat, yeah. I'm your eminence with a game that's imminent. I call it the year of innings. We've got no fuzzy trolls or nose. My music will charm you, 'cause at the moment that's the only charm you can do. I'm like a bard that's coming to a game for you, yeah. And what's this I hear about group mobs? If I see another post about it, I'm going off. Bring the balance back and beat these mobs. Never needed chevrons all along, yeah. Hopefully my lyrics don't leave you a scar before we've had a chance to bring you the scar. I know my rhymes are sharp 'cause I used a stone dropped from a gob. These goblins dropping so much I think I'll build me a hall, yeah. Some may call me a thug, but it's just a bug. I'm working as intended from 9 to 9 to bring you a game that's sublime, yeah. So join a guild or look up builds. Fight in the caves or maybe the streets. The results are the same, our gameplay is peak. Tonight I'm solo, so I ain't going solo. Maybe I'll mine or skin some sheep. Either way I'm dropping this beat, bringing the heat, yeah. Our team may be small, but I say we're sleek. Always on fleek, making good content ain't cheap. But let's get deep, the experience is steep. Perception seems weak, got patches this week, was a hell of a feat. I wanna say thank you to all our fans. Taking 20 years wasn't the plan, but here we are. Can't wait to see you all. Joppa to Papa.
Yo, chat. What is going on, everybody? It is good to see you again. Happy Wednesday. I hope you all are doing well. It's a kind of a big day today because today is the, well, for one, I'm wearing my creative director hoodie. Something all creative directors should have, at least one. A friend of mine got me this hoodie a little while back. And I have not, I think this is actually the first time that I've worn it. I've enjoyed having it, but I don't think I've quite worn it yet. And today is the day. Today is indeed the day. Yeah, you are supposed to have hoodies. I thought this was, in the creative director culture, I thought this was a well-known thing, Mr. Frozen. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But anyway, it's a big day because today we're actually, for the first time, simulcasting to Twitch and YouTube. And it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. And today it happened. So I will do my best to not get bogged down by that. It's a little bit of a different feel. And not quite used to it yet, but it is what it is. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And of course, for our amazing Twitch community, thank you for being here with me again today. Let's check out who we got here. We've got Kurgan. Kurgan with the official first. Dosi. I think we actually had Kurgan. I don't know, maybe it was Slowbacks. On YouTube with Kurgan coming in with the hot second, but we've got Kurgan, Dosi, good to see you, Desric as well, Sinner, Mordred, Cut Off Your Head, Salted Hash, Sailors and Sea Monsters, great name, Velkinks, Albatross with the 5-stream streak as well. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you. You've got Alinar, Wolfgar, Gwimchim. By the way, if you guys have enjoyed the intro song, I have to give shout out to Wolfgar. Wolfgar is the man who made that song. It's awesome. It's awesome. Kronzik, good to see you. Gwim Jim, Jackin Tanhawk, Colonel Fouts, welcome to you all. Mithrandir, good to see you as well. Chris Frozen in the house, just let me play. Glorf, welcome. Briar, welcome. We've got Bronson in the house. Bronzy Bear, Locke, Omega Suspect, welcome to you as well. Also want to give shout out and welcome to Slowbacks, Dupree, Guts Rage, welcome. Astral, to you as well. Chapo, Himigod, Mitch, welcome to you all. Thank you for being here and hanging out with me. We are going to be doing kind of our, for the most part, our Taxiderm. What's up, bro? Good to see you as well. Kind of our standard fare. We're going to do a little bit of some EQ Guesser. If you're new to the stream, we will typically start with some EQ Guesser. If you don't know what that is, you will shortly. And if you ever played EverQuest, you should feel right at home and can actually play along with us. And we'll do that to get the blood flowing a little bit, and then we'll go into some Pantheon today, and then we'll kind of see where we go. We just released the Wizard dev blog recently. We might hop in and dig into that a little bit. Maybe do a little bit of Wizard play, just to kind of take a closer look at some of those things that we talked about in the blog, and we'll just kind of see where the day takes us. You know, we'll see where the day takes us. Dosey says, Joppa, a hacker got into my bank account and left me a note. Please save more money. This was a complete waste of my time. Thank you, Dosey. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. So let's get the show on the road here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Like I said, Chad, you know, gonna need to bear with me just a little bit here while I get used to these. Got another window in my ecosystem here. Also, before we get too far into this, I do want to give a few more quick shout outs here. First of all, Crit, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. The 19 friggin' months. Thank you, my friend. Seawick with the tier 1 sub. 12 months tier 1. Bro, Seawick, thank you so much. My goodness. That is awesome. Otaladab, thank you for the tier 1 as well and the 13 months of support. You guys are amazing. It is so very appreciated. The reason I play that sound effect, for those of you who grew up playing Super Metroid, and you know how it feels when you hear that, when you got the new item, when you got the new unlock and it played that sound, it was just this unbelievable feeling. And literally every time I hear that notification that you guys are supporting the channel like that, it is a very similar feeling. I mean, it's even more significant in many ways, but that little sound bite is very reminiscent to me of that same kind of just feeling overwhelmed with like satisfaction and joy and appreciation. So thank you so much. Let's see. Not played for 5 months. What's changed? I mean, a lot's changed. A lot has changed. A lot is changing. Contrary to a lot of, I don't know. It's actually going to be interesting kind of pulling in the YouTube community a little bit because, you know, I'm pretty familiar with with the Twitch side of things. In the Twitch community, I'm pretty familiar with some of the current, you know, thoughts. There's a lot of like bleed over from, you know, kind of the things that we'll read on Discord and that we find in the Pantheon Discord. I feel like the Twitch community kind of has a good beat on that. It's gonna be interesting to see. I know there's some crossover between Twitch and YouTube as well, of course, but for those that are, you know, maybe don't frequent Discord as much, those that will probably be tuning in through YouTube, it'll be interesting to hear some of the perspectives. I feel like there might be some different perspectives. But I know there's definitely as seems to be always the case, with our project. You know, there is a narrative out there that, you know, we're the game's kind of died off, or you know, I don't know, surprised that things are still cooking. And let me just say, like, it's still cooking. I mean, we are cooking, and we'll, you know, more and more kind of glimpses into what that means will be coming over the next weeks and months. There's a whole lot getting done, and so, as has always been the case, even when I first started streaming, you know, my goal was to try and help the community just have a little bit more of an insight into, and more of a kind of a finger on the pulse of the fact that the project is alive and well, a little bit, you know, more direct kind of insight into what kind of things we're doing and what we're working on, and most importantly, that, you know, the fire for this game, the passion to make this and build this game is still very much alive. So, anyway, like I said, so glad that you guys are here. We are going to jump right now into our first little segment here, which is EQ Guesser. EQ Guesser. And if you just search for EQ Guesser and go to the site, you will be able to pull up this absolute masterpiece of an experience. But if you don't do that, you don't need to, because I'm about to share a link if you want to play along. This is basically like, you know, a GeoGuessr experience, but in Norath. So again, if you played EverQuest, you're absolutely familiar with what I'm saying, and you'll like it a lot. Trust me. If you played EverQuest any length of time, this is an experience that you're really going to love. So here we go. The way it works, at least what we typically do to start with, is we do 45-second rounds, 5 rounds. You can't move, but you can pan, so you can kind of swivel your view around. And then it has this wonderful looking for group mode, which means that I can copy this link, paste it to you guys. You can go to the link, and when you go to the link, it will basically give everybody who clicks the link the same round. And we'll all play through it together. And then as I play through it, once I get to the end, that will be kind of the end point. And then we'll see how everybody scored and go from there. Hey, what's up, Cyric? All the way from Germany. Awesome. Yeah, you need to try and beat me to the finish line. So anyway, go ahead and click. If you want to play, go ahead and click the link, get going. And yeah. I've been waiting all week for this. Hey, Joppa, why do bards in Pantheon wear plate? Well, to be clear, they do wear light plate. And there's a big difference between light plate and heavy plate in Pantheon. So that is an important distinction. And they wear light plate because they are... It allows them to be flashier. You know what I mean? It allows them to be flashier. And bards appreciate flash. They appreciate flash. What can I say? What can I say? No, right now, Constitution is the primary driver for hit chance. That is going to change. That's one of the many kind of upcoming changes that we will kind of go over in detail and start going over in detail soon. But as it stands right now, in game currently, Constitution is governing hit chance. All right, let's do it. Here we go. Giving you guys enough time. I'm hopping in. You didn't know this existed? Yeah, Himigod, if you didn't know this existed, I highly recommend, if you're an EQ fan, giving it a try. It's a lot of fun. All right, so this is kind of how it goes. You know, you get a stationary spot. We almost always turn move off. It just, I don't know, makes it a little more interesting, a little more challenging. And then, yeah, you got 45 seconds to kind of get a sense of where you are. And then you have this handy little world map you can pull up, and once you feel like you got a good sense of where you're at, you just zoom in, scroll wheel to zoom in and pick your spot. Now I have no idea where this actually is, so I inside of permafrost. I know it's permafrost, but okay, that's not terrible. It's not terrible, though. It depends on who my competition is for that day. Sometimes we've got some legitimate sweat lords in chat that will put every little mistake on blast. All right. Man, I always get confused. I just never spent enough time in either of these places to really, really know. But I feel like this is the hole. And... oh, man. We're out of time. Let's just go somewhere like right there, I guess. See where that goes. Okay. Okay. Cool. I'll take it. I'll take it. Oh, okay. Dude, this is such a weird zone. It's so weird. I remember dying on this island one time. I was just exploring, and there was some weird, like, erudite, angry NPC that just aggroed me and destroyed me. All right. So where does that put us? That puts us, like, right here, yeah? Right. So we're looking from this side. So I would say we're, like, what, like right here? Or right there? I forgot we were on land. That's fine. That's on me. That's on me. Whew. WoW Classic was your first MMO. I'm not hardcore enough for this game. Not hardcore enough for which game? For EverQuest or for Pantheon? Because I would encourage you maybe to withhold judgment on whether you're not hardcore enough for Pantheon. Because while I would say we are more hardcore than WoW Classic, I don't think we're so much so that it would like totally alienate you. You think so, Korik? You could guess some of these locations, having not played? Why is that? Just from like, where do you feel like that knowledge came from? That wasn't bad. Not bad. All right, so this is one of my old haunts. I made so many characters that spent time in this place early on. This is Butcher Block, and this is like right on the Greater Fadark side of Butcher Block. So basically you're coming in from Greater Fadark here, and this is like tucked over in this little corner right about here-ish, because we're not quite in line with that pillar. Very edge of it. We're actually more... I mean, that's probably pretty close right there, huh? Okay. All right, breakdown. Let's see. Hey. Boom! All right. Yeah. It is a little bonkers, you know? Wait a second. For a second, I don't know why. For a second there, I thought my name had changed. I don't know why. That was weird. That was weird. So yeah, Korik. The IC one would be guessable. Just oh, I see what you mean. You're talking about just like context clues and stuff. Okay. And funny enough, context clues actually do a lot to like kind of help me navigate through some of these areas. So yeah, that makes sense though. All right, let's see. Okay, so I'm taking home gold, guys. I'm pretty happy about that, honestly. I didn't expect that right out of the gate, but that's great. In second place, we have somebody who is no stranger to the leaderboard. That's Alinar. Alinar, congratulations. Taking home silver. And in third, we've got Disarmed White Akanon Clockwork. Who is taking home third today? J. Cole. Very cool. Well done. Well done. Nice. Now, the way it works is after we kind of get our top three, the person who came in first place, or if it was me that came in first, the next place winner gets to decide what the rules for the next round are going to be. So, Alinar, it is in your hands, my friend. I know Black Fox isn't here, and yeah, I mean, I obviously I would have still won. I know that's not what you're saying. Change the trilogy and keep the rest. Okay. Let me immediately do that by clicking classic. All right, here we go. Keep the rest. 45 seconds, 5 rounds, pan. Looking for group trilogy. All right. Well, we know how this is gonna go. We know how this is gonna go. Here comes the link. Good luck. Good luck. Hey, what's up, Brunlinks? Good to see you. The fact you can get so close 20 years later is bonkers. Yeah, and Crit's right. It goes to how much impact some games have on our lives. It is curious, though. I mean, there's definitely an imprinting, a very, very powerful imprinting that I don't want to say just EQ, but these games in general tend to have on us. Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't think it's just EQ. I mean, there's definitely places in WoW that I can remember with about as much detail. I think anyway. Like I have a pretty strong mental map of, Elwyn Forest and Westfall and Duskwood and Red Ridge and that's largely because the majority of characters I played in WoW were humans. Played a lot of dwarves too, so Ironforge and Dunmorrow and whatever the first little area was. Was it Dunmorrow? Maybe it was. And then you've got your Loch Modan and so yeah. I think it really just it's where you spent the majority of your time. I think that's where you spent the majority of your time. All right, let's hop in. Here we go. Because there's places in EverQuest from this era that I just oh, God, this is Trilogy. Oh man, I don't know. I have no idea where this is. A Liznak. A Lizmok. I don't know. Let's go Hollow Shade more. We were close. Very close. Okay. Yeah, we know where this is. That's really the key for me with Trilogy is how many classic zones end up getting in here. If it's a lot, then we're good. Where though? Where? Okay. Maybe right here? Maybe it's this building? Nope. Oh no, don't do that to me. Don't glitch on me, please. Ugh. That sucks. That sucks. What's my feeling about New World shutting down? I will talk about that in just a second. I do have feelings about it. This is going to be Sol A. Sol A. Let's go like right here. Okay. This round is bad. This round is bad. Very bad. Alright, so this is, that's a big ship. That's a lot bigger than the normal ships, right? So... doesn't this mean that this is, Yerud's Crossing? Nice. The little, Kara Island NPC gave it away. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Okay. Man, like what happened here, guys? This is the kind of stuff that every so often oh well. It's okay. You could probably get dropped on any map of Zelda 1 and know where I was. Now that I can absolutely agree with. For sure. All right, debuffed green G-Fei Bat taking home the gold. Who's that going to be? Debuffed green G-Fei Bat. Who to bat? I'm to bat. Oh, it's Glorf. Glorf, congratulations. Well done. Well done, Glorf. Best you've ever done, 2 perfect 5Ks. Nice. Nice, T-Chief. It feels good. It feels good when you get a perfect 5K. For sure. In second place, we have Alinar. Alinar, again, is another very frequent topper of our leaderboards for EQ Guesser. So, not a surprising turn of events, but a very worthy and honorable effort by Alinar. So congratulations, Alinar, on the silver again. Who came in third? Who sees what I see on first and second? Oh, Black Fox. Okay. Now that explains it. His AI coding is showing. All right. Well, congratulations, Black Fox. I'm just messing with you, man. It's good to see you. Glad you're here. Well done. Yeah, the fumbles hurt. I mean, you look at Alinar's performance here, perfect 5Ks across the board except for round 1. I mean, that's really good. But yeah, I mean, a fumble is can be devastating. Absolutely devastating, as we have seen time and again. Never by me, of course, but we've generally seen it. Yeah, New World shutting down is sad. It makes me sad. It makes me sad when any of these persistent worlds that are so lovingly crafted and so much work and time and effort go into them, and it makes me sad. And it's a reminder. It's kind of a stark reminder of how, how volatile the industry can be, and how suddenly things can change. And it's interestingly enough, it's one of the things. So it's a very sad thing. It's a very negative thing. I have, good friends that have spent a lot of time in New World, and it makes me sad for them as well. And any time something like that happens, it's like, man, we as players, we invest so much time, we invest so much energy. We usually court these games, with so much hope and excitement before they happen, and then we jump in and we go hard, and when they end, it's hard, it's sad, and like I said, it is often that stark reminder of like this industry's tough. Making games is tough. Keeping games going is tough, and it's never a guarantee. We always are. You celebrate successes, and you constantly are shoring yourself up against the potential for having to go through hard times. I mean, we've certainly gone through hard times on this project as well, as you guys know. The only kind of silver lining, I guess, for us from our perspective, is it's like, there's a very real way in which it's a good reminder that like the fact that we are still going strong is really important. It's a big deal. It makes me all the more, I don't know, thankful for what we have, thankful for the community we have, thankful for the support we have. Like, it's a good reminder of that. Have we reached out to anybody? I mean, we usually do. If we don't reach out directly, we definitely keep tabs, and when we have, the need and the means, it's definitely on our radar for sure. This was a horrible place to log out last time, but I am a rogue, so we're good. Corporate greed is the worst. I commend the devs for all they did. Yeah. It's sad because, I mean, New World was a beautiful game. I spent a lot of time in it myself and really enjoyed it. Every game has shortcomings, there's no perfect be-all, end-all game. New World did a lot really well. And, it deserves to stick around. It's really sad. It's really sad. It did have good lore. I agree. I think that like the premise and kind of the setting of the game was one of the cooler parts to me. And they did it well. It didn't feel cheesy. Guts Rage. I just started playing about the game less than 3 weeks ago. Nice. Very cool. What class? Let's see if we can get a group going. We got Grok at level 11 Ranger or 13 Pally. Ooh, there's a 13 Paladin looking for a group. We want a Paladin. We got a Warrior looking for a group. We need... Let's see. Who's looking for a group right now? Got a Rogue. We'd have 2 rogues. Maybe the tank would be the better. Do we want to try to go to Halnir today? Is that the plan? Alinar? Yeah. You want to bring your wizard in? Let's see. We're gonna need a healer though. Let's see if he's up for HC. I don't know. Yeah, Glorf, let's do the 12 Shaman. Let's do the Shaman. If we get Pally, Shaman, Rogue, Wizard. That'd be a really good start. What do I do when I can't find a group? Well, I enjoy soloing, so I don't mind soloing. Which is one of the reasons that I'm excited about the NPC changes coming up, getting rid of the chevrons and all that, because it's going to make soloing a little bit, like, it's going to make it harder and more interesting and therefore more fun. And it's going to make, you know, areas where you could potentially carve out like a spot to solo, you know, while you're waiting for a group, or duo, you know, while you're waiting for a group or whatever. It's going to make it a lot easier. Because like this Gadai right here, like I could totally, I would get annihilated if I tried to fight this thing right now, because it's, you know, an elite NPC. But once we unify everything, then this could be somewhere where I could, you know, just pick off a few NPCs while I wait, and that'd be cool. To Ninja, yeah, it is. It is still the stat per hit rating right now. That is going to change though. But for right now, it is, yeah. I didn't hear back from our paladin though. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. So yeah, looks like we're gonna do HC. See how it goes. Alinar, you getting on the wizard? But I will say this, FGC, to your question though, beyond the response I gave, we are very aware that, you know, the server population, having people to group with, that's a big part of, you know, the puzzle here. So part of the upcoming things that we're going to be announcing and talking about will absolutely include our plans for how to handle the server pop situation. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to, inevitably it becomes about specifics, you know, like how are you guys actually going to solve this, what, you know, what it's going to look like. We have answers to those questions, but I want to wait until we're ready to kind of like lay out the full plan, which will be somewhat soon. Oh, Guts, you were talking about New World. I did think you were talking about Pantheon. Okay. This is... we got Glorfia. Or Glorphy, not Glorfia. Okay, he's not in the zone yet. I mean, it is kind of a tease. I'm not gonna lie. Like it is kind of a tease. It's just not something that I'm going to start, you know, talking about just yet, but soon. Sorry about that, Goonie. You played Guild Wars 1 for 4 minutes until you couldn't get over the corner of a fence. No jump was wild. It was wild. I forgot about that. Wow. Wow. Okay. Hold on a second. We got Glorphy, we got Alois, Glorphy, and Chrysamere. Okay. Okay. Now, we've got the human rogue, the level 12 rogue. We've got the level 15 druid, but I feel like that might be a little higher than we'd like, but at the same time, I'm definitely the lowest level person, so maybe it's okay. You guys want to try to get the 15 druid and the 12 rogue? Hey, FGC, thanks so much for hanging out. Thank you. You take care. You can call me Dean. Did servers reset from characters that people made on release, or will my characters still be there? Your characters will still be there, yeah. There hasn't been a wipe or anything. With the upcoming wizard changes, do you feel tanks have the ability with their current toolkit to maintain aggro on even bigger nukes and crits? Well, well, let me say a few things about that. Number one, just know that with the upcoming wizard changes, the wizard is being tuned with the upcoming NPC changes in mind. Okay? So, for those of you that are unaware, part of the work that we're doing, and one of the things that one of the big aspects of kind of the upcoming changes and updates has to do with getting rid of the Chevron elite NPC versus solo NPC dichotomy that we have in the game right now, and moving to a unified NPC, just a single NPC type. And the challenge of the NPC will be based on what level it is compared to you, and so on and so forth. And when we make that change, right now, if you've played the game any length of time, like solo NPCs that don't have the little chevron tick on their nameplates, they're very easy. They're very easy. They get knocked down super quick. And when the wizard changes come out, know that the wizard is being tuned in the update that we've done. It's tuned for the upcoming NPC type, which means that when it comes to solo NPCs, I mean, wizards are going to be melting them even more so than they do now. So just putting that out there preemptively. I'm sure we're still going to read a lot of messages like, you know, why did you guys go and make wizards even more crazy and things like that? And just know that it's in light of the things to come. So that being said, it's a good change. Visual preview of wizard pre-patch. Maybe. We need to get PVL on one of these things. I know they've stopped by a few times before. I didn't hear back from the rogue. I was afraid a level 15 druid might be a little bit too high. I don't think they'd be down for what, you know, for entrance stuff, so yeah. What's going on, the real Schwaney? Schwanny? Yeah, sure it's one of those. Anyway, where I was going with that about the wizard question, are there going to be issues with tanks and aggro and things like that? There certainly could be. So I'm not going to rule out that there won't need to be some tweaks on the tank side with their threat generation and things like that. But at the same time, you know, it is part of the art of wizarding, which is understanding that if you absolutely unleash on something immediately, then, you know, you're gonna have some issues. You're gonna have some issues. All right, let me find here for now. Oop. Yeah. Zimdog is looking for group level 13 shaman. Would we? I mean, I feel it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think a level 13 shaman, can they lean into DPS enough for it to be meaningful? Yo, Osmos. Yes, it is me, the Joppa. I am back. I took a long hiatus from streaming for a few pretty important reasons. Yes, I am back. I've been back for a bit now and absolutely loving it. And really excited to be back, honestly, because it's kind of on the cusp of a lot of really cool, big things coming for the project. So it's going to be fun to experience those things with you guys a little more directly. All right, cool. I'll reach out and see if he wants to join. Zimdog. Proximus, I guess you need a new graphics card. I'm using an old card, but it ran okay at launch, but now I'm getting 25 FPS. Yeah, if you're not, you know, obviously that's a you call to make. The game will go through different phases and different kind of ups and downs of optimization, and then introducing, you know, new things, new shaders, new whatever, and then those will be optimized. So, but yeah. Let's go ahead and head to HC entrance. I should probably sell. Wow. Yep. Let's sell. I'm gonna sell real quick in Dimmoth. We'll see if I can get enough money to the new spell. Silver. Do I need that? I need that, do I? 5 damage. I think I have a 6 damage axe. Yeah, let's just use that. And delete this guy. Oh yeah, we've got that short sword as well. Cool. And the club. I want to keep... I kind of like the sword over the axe just thematically, so we'll keep that. We'll keep the club. We'll keep the sword. We've got poison. We can sell this, that. I'm just going to purge. These actually sell pretty good. I should have kept one. I do have more. Okay, good. Sell that. Sell that. Sell that. We'll sell that. We can go sell these too. That's fine. Got dual spears, which is cool, but heavy. That's fine. One agility versus one stamina. Actually, you know what? Why am I not wearing this right now? It's less AC, but that stamina is gonna boost my blood. My blood letter. What do I have that uses agility right now? Anything? Dex. Okay, blackjack kick. And hidden swing. Oh, whoops. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let's wrap this up. I have a little, let me just check. Cross a brew. That's actually pretty cool. Flash bomb. That's what I really want. I want to have that on my person. As soon as I get high enough level to use that, I want to have it ready. So there we go. All right, I think we're good. Here we go. Here we go. If Zim feels good about having heals on lockdown, then another DPS. Let's try that. With tune kits being slowly fleshed out to level 50, will we see trait stones for level 45 and 50 for the +1 stats? Yes, we will, even though we'll be transitioning that eventually to be more of an automatic thing on level up. But yeah, we need to get the rest of those implemented. Hey, what's up, Primus? What's up, Primus? I need to pay better attention. Better attention. Go ahead and go stealth. Putrid Skelly. Man, that's a juicy Skelly. I really want to kill that thing. I'm going to resist. What level of mobs will a group fight without chevrons in the game? 5 level 50 mobs for level 12 party. I'm not sure I understand the question exactly. Are you talking about like how many at a time? Yeah. Well, what I mean by sweat lord is just literally sweating. A lot. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna find a 6th or not. We've got another wizard. And this rogue didn't respond. I mean, a necro would be kind of cool, honestly. Be kind of cool. But that's up to you. That is up to you. What level of mobs? Yeah. What? So the intention of it is that, yes, like if you're a solo player, if you're a duo, something like that, you're going to be looking for dark blues, light blues. If you're solo especially, it'll be a mixture of like dark blue, light blue, even green. Because remember, coinciding with this change are changes to experience as well, and how much experience you're gaining per kill and things like that. But also, you know, an increase in the challenge of the NPC, the time to kill, and various things. If you're in a group, if you're in, you know, kind of a mid-sized group all the way up to a full group, that's going to determine what level you can comfortably fight. So maybe in like a 3-person group or something like that, you're doing a mixture of like dark blues, whites, maybe, you know, some yellows. If you're trending closer to a full group, then you're looking for yellows, oranges, maybe the occasional kind of like shallow red, you know, maybe just like a one level red kind of thing. Again, depending on the group makeup, depending on, you know, what the NPCs are and all of those things. But yeah. All right. We got a necro. Full group achieved. Yeah, I think so. ET says, it's always weird to me that people think that MMOs need to have chevrons or mass swarm of mobs to make content challenging when games have been challenging for so long without doing that before WoW came in. And yeah, you're right. I mean, EverQuest certainly was challenging in its own way, right? It wasn't that the mechanics, the class mechanics, the general combat mechanics, the environment, the NPC behavior and mechanics, and all of those things had multiple layers of complexity, or, you know, it was challenging even within its simplicity because of the density. And when I say density, I don't even necessarily mean like an overabundance of NPCs. I mean more like how they were placed, being placed in a way that made it difficult to... Oh, we lost our healer. We have an 11 druid, but I don't know if that'll be... Let me also, let me move my... I'm gonna move... Yep. All right. All right, let me see if I can find that same person again. Okay. Chloroplast. Anyway, right. So where I was going with all that, just to short up, is with Pantheon, we've made, you know, several steps towards introducing a bit more complexity in the combat, more potential actions per minute, more, you know, kinds of synergies between classes, or you know, you have multiple classes now that are capable of doing multiple different things. You know, you think back to EQ and like things like stuns existed, but they were pretty limited. You didn't have things like knockdowns. Did EQ have silence? I don't remember. You had zones that had silence. Didn't know that. Okay. All right. So as soon as Chloroplast gets here, we'll head in. So we're close. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, and this is what I was saying on the last stream. At the end of the day, the decision to ultimately move away from chevrons was a decision that we ultimately made as a design team. We made it with, you know, taking into account a ton of input and feedback from the community. And for me personally, the really where the main tipping point came in the effect that it was having on one of the primary DNA pillars of the game, which is the open world, the desire to create an open world experience where as you level up and as you progress, the more of the world would open itself up to you. And depending on what you individually or in a particular group were capable of, you would be able to do maybe more than you thought you could. And the problem with a system, what became apparent, even though again we could have kept it the way that it was, it wasn't that it wasn't functioning the way that we intended it to. Solo NPCs were way too easy and are way too easy as it stands currently. But, you know, aside from that, it certainly could have worked. But at the end of the day, like, having that really just stark dividing line between only a group can do this, you know, a small group or a solo or a duo could never do this. Like, there's just this hard line. I think it ultimately started to kind of eat away a little bit at some of that DNA. So, I think it's a great change. I think it's going to allow us to even feel a little freer to kind of beef up and strengthen some individual abilities. We talked about root as an example, and how root in this new system should be a lot more of a viable ability, you know, a lot more effective, not so brittle. And other ways where I feel like it's going to allow us to give more room for skill expression for players. Yeah, Primus. This is the inaugural day. All right. Are we ready? Ready to do this? Oh, we're still waiting on Chloroplast. I saw Chrysamere and I thought, it's them. Yeah, the Lukelands on it. Wasn't it like the gray or something like that? I think I remember that now. Chat, you come across a portal like this in real life, and I mean this, okay? Are you walking through it? You're just gonna walk through it. I don't know. First of all, I don't know if I actually believe all of you saying you would. Just putting it out there. I don't know. But second of all, can you imagine? What if you can never get back? Hey, what's up, Slayheim? Good to see you. I mean, surely you would just put a hand through first, right? Like, we're not talking full send, like, just gone. I don't know. I might put a hand in. In fact, I probably would try to find something to stick in, like, you know, a stick, or like a, out of weapon, obviously, to do that, or if it was in the real, if it was real life, I might try to find like a leaf or something on the ground to kind of like just stick in there and see. Just make sure it's not going to absolutely obliterate me. It's not some kind of like, I don't know. I think about that sometimes playing these games. Like, man, what would I actually do? Like if I were presented with this in real life, like what are the kind of things my character does that I don't know that I would actually do? The cat goes first? Oof. Hey, IGT, I mean, that's, you know, we all have to, we all have things that we would do, you know? All right. Get in the mic set here. This is my first time in Heler Cave on this character. In fact, this is the first time I've been in Heler Caves since the last dev stream that we did, where we took the three-man group in here and tried to see how we fared. Rifle, get some fat loots. Since Ronan killed me? Yeah, that was the last time. That was the last time I was in here. Wait, are my poisons good? Nope. Come on, man. Gotta get serious here. Gotta get serious. Ravage. What happened to Glorfy? Oh, my sweet Christmas morning. That's rogue loot. We got ravaged, indeed. Classic EQ Skelly laugh. Let's get my, okay, let's lock in here. Let's lock in. We need to get our decoy up. We need to get ready with our traps. Let me actually do Shift R for this one. Really want a good. Not using that as much because I don't have a good key binding for it yet. Maybe I'll just use the. Need the sheathing toggle right now. Or no. We'll stick with Z. Okay. That'll work. Ravage also locks the mob in place so everyone can dodge it, including the tank. Yep. Yep. Hey, what's up, Scab? Good to see you. Welcome. All right, here we go. Ravage. Woo! I've got them. Weapons are toxified. Weapons are indeed toxified. That's good. That's good that it's causing the clinch. Now see what? What? Okay. Oh, the traps. Bradkin meat. Delicious. Ginjon, no, they don't show up in the buffs anymore. We're gonna revert that though. Got a tank helmet that dropped. Nice. The trap can be, yeah, the trap can be resisted, but I don't think it was in that case. If it was, we'll chalk it up to that same issue of like really needing to improve the feedback, you know, some of these kind of things. All right, here we go. We're gonna start with our trap, right? Trap. Boom. A little bit of time for threat to be built before we hop in here. Ravage. Good. Is that the wizard that's just melting this thing? Alois? Shadow Rain Necro. That's off DPS that fight. DPS looking pretty respectable from the rogue. I'm not gonna complain. Not gonna complain. That's even like not jumping in right away either, so. Alright, we got a Cabalist. Sorry to keep complaining about this. How am I supposed to sweat Lord when it's not going to recognize my keybind? You know? What level are we? I am level 10. Dagas is level 10 still. Still just a young, wee little pap. And we are in a group. I think the highest level is 13. It's nice. It's definitely nice kind of spending more consistent time on these characters because you know the muscle memory kicks in. You feel like you're starting to really know your class, be able to make intuitive decisions. It's I remember last time I played the cleric on stream. You know, it's the first time that I had played a cleric in a long time, and you know, was setting my level to a certain point, kind of, you know, adding the abilities, and didn't have that kind of, you know, familiarity. Makes a huge difference. Traps be place OOC out of combat instead of throwing them on fighting mobs. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with how they are now. Like, I could definitely pre-place the trap for sure, but if I pre-place the trap, I feel like the aggro from that might be a little problematic. Oh, did the creepers take them out? Nice. Okay. That's funny. And interesting, because just so you guys are aware, those types of NPCs, those like swarmer creeper type NPCs, you're going to be seeing some more of those. We've not really leaned into those as heavily as we would like. And subsequently that is going to be, you know, one of the things that makes AoE spells really valuable, is being able to deal with swarmers and things like that. Hey, what's up, Bronson? Hi, first time here. I can't tell if that's like an attempt at a humorous thing to say or not. How are you able to tell what your DPS feels like, especially with everyone else melting the mob? Serious question. Are you enjoying the class still? You are correct in saying that I do not really feel like I have a good sense of what my DPS actually feels like. If I did not have the parser that I have, I would not know whether I was performing well DPS wise or not. And that is exactly why after last week's stream we devoted a whole design discussion to like, okay, how do we improve this? Because a parser's fine, and a parser's fine as far as like, this is exactly what I did that fight. But I want to feel things when I am fighting. I want to have a sense of like, a better sense of when I'm connecting. And I mentioned World of Warcraft, like classic WoW is like a good example of how, looking at it purely from the combat experience, how they did a really, really good job of making your actions and the outcomes of your actions really prominent and kind of front and center. And there was a real clarity of that feedback through animation, through visual effects, audio effects, all that stuff. And I think there's some serious ways that we can improve that experience for the player in Pantheon beyond what it is right now. And just pay attention to the next fight. Like, you know, watch it as best you can from my perspective. You're not going to feel it exactly like I feel it. But let's see if we can really kind of feel our actions. Hey, what's up, FGC? Welcome back. The that white flame is the Wrathful Aegis for the Paladin. It's like a it's kind of a damage / threat builder over time. While an NPC's in that radius. Oh yeah, drink time. Let me do that. Let me do that. Just let me do that. Neural TV, yes, there is an XP loss on death. And yes, all of the healer classes actually get a resurrect that restores some lost experience. You also restore some lost experience when you recover your corpse. Hello? Thank you. Okay, we're actually gonna stay on this one, yeah? Yeah, so some of the things that I proposed in an effort to try and hopefully improve some of that is there's an audio element. Some of it's audio. When the mix is not properly kind of accentuating my attacks, then and it's instead like kind of everything, like all of the audio. For example, in that fight that we just did there, I was hearing a lot of like the blunt hits, and when the audio isn't kind of mixed to accentuate my stuff, I feel like it's easier for things to just get kind of lost. So I want that real audio prominence to come from me, from my effects, from my weapon hits, from my impacts. Another thing that identified was, and one of the things that I think WoW did well is think about when you missed in WoW. When you missed in WoW, at least in Classic WoW, I don't think it's this way anymore in retail. But when you missed in WoW, your attack animation would be slowed down quite a bit. And you'd hear this like whoosh sound to give you that audio visual feedback that you had missed. And there was something that it was just well communicated. And right now, sometimes I feel like our animations can get kind of hurried to the extent where it feels a little jumbled, and there's not as clear of a sense of like, okay, I just had a really hard hit there, or I completely whiffed that swing. The floating combat text is another thing that could really improve the clarity. Having a lot more control over what you've... Because, like, for example, I would rather not see the Vine Talisman healing in floating combat text. I don't need to see that. I would like for white damage or auto attack damage to look different from ability damage, and I would like for both of them to look different from crits. I'd like for them to be oriented a little differently and not all stacked on top of each other. That'll help a lot. There's quite a few things that we can do, I think, to make it better. Nameplate filters, yeah. Nameplates are kind of an eyesore. But these are all things that we're discussing right now, and you know, starting to make some plans of what we want to change and what we want to improve and all that. That's good. You would trade all combat text for end of fight farce. Guys, why do I keep doing that? I don't do that unless I'm streaming. I don't do that unless I'm streaming. End of fight farcer. Yes. Oh yeah, particle density, that's a big one too. Yep. Yeah, that's a really big one. I agree. Not only particle density and opacity, but just being able to like turn off particle effects from other players. Like, the more control with that stuff, the better. I mean, that's kind of the easiest way to put it. The more control, the better. Bloodletter's doing some work, especially when it crits. That definitely feels like a pretty sizable part of my my overall damage output for sure. Have you considered reworking any of the animation spell effects for the Tell Dangerous fight? Oh yeah, T-Chief. Sorry, I saw your message earlier. I think that's probably a good call. I know, especially in the phase where there's all the fire wisps and stuff. It's pretty intense. But again, it's like, one of the reasons that we don't go the route of just like reworking things like that is because ultimately we are going to have certain fights that are, you know, very particle intensive, and it should be in the player's control, you know, to tweak that accordingly. So it's kind of like if we had at the moment the kind of control over particle effects that we want players to be able to have, then it really wouldn't be that big of a deal, because people could just turn it off if they wanted to. Or turn it down, or whatever. But, yeah. Wolfgar's thinking of a new song, Take Me to Browntown. I don't know. I think some kind of a play on like it needs more brown is would be a great addition to the Pantheon meme music. What does it need population-wise to get the most out of the game? You mean like on a per server basis? Oh, chat. Bard needs it. That's true, yeah. Yeah. I foul rat. Seems like everyone's cool with me taking it, so that is what I shall do. Oh, yes! I was hoping it would be brown, and I was not disappointed. Yach, I would love to go back and do some more time on the Enchanter. Yeah, I would. And I think it would be good. That is such a sweet tunic. Very happy with it. Nope. So what happened there? Oh, he... Okay. That's what happened. I know what happened. Eviscerate. Eviscerate. Evisceratoru. Dripwood bowstaff. What did I have before? I had the scuffed jerkin. I feel like this dungeon should have a huge boss named the Rat King. Oh yeah. Yep, and some pepperoni pizza boxes and some ooze. We'll definitely talk about what we want to do in terms of like if we want to make that fight recap. I kind of want to get. I'm not going to do the. I'll wait for the explosion. I want to get the rest of the design team's input on that. I don't personally have a problem with it. At least during this EA phase. I don't know that I would. I don't really want to like launch with a fight recap embedded into the combat window, but I don't know. Maybe I could be persuaded otherwise. Yeah. Dang! Sweet. All right. Got our stealth just got a little better. Love that. I know. I need to mim it. undo. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, I mean it is kind of opening Pandora's box, you know. It's like, because then you start getting the whole, well, my class isn't good enough because this class just pulled this number on this fight. And you get, you know, there's people that are better and people that are worse at hitting certain numbers, and it just, you know, that whole situation. I wish I had Shadowfall. This is the kind of stuff in the environment that I imagined, like, when coming up with the idea of Shadowfall for the rogue, thinking like, man, I want rogues to be able to like get into these high places and then just like jump into the air and whoosh. I think that would be sick. But it's just, you know, they would need a way to do it more consistently. Twin Fangs, sick. I've been excited about that one. I feel like my DPS is about to bump up a tad. Let's see. Twin Fangs, a twofold attack that deals minor damage per strike and inflicts the target with the weak, poisoned state for 40 seconds. Damage modifier, intelligence. Oh. Okay. I'm pretty sure we're going to be switching out Hidden Strike now for Twin Fangs. Hidden Strike has not felt like a... I mean, actually... I don't know. We might end up adding Hidden Strike back, but for now, we'll see. Ninja class confirmed. Ninja class would be amazing. I tell you what, though, between the rogue and the monk, I feel like we've got somewhat of a ninja type situation. What I really want to see down the road, and this is just, you know, this is just my own selfish desire, would be a Ronin samurai class. Ronin. Berserker. Alright. Twin things, I'm gonna have to use daggers, right? Yeah. Wait, no. What? Oh, what? Oh, did we lose the tank to Ravish? We gotta repop Stalker. And, oh my sweet Christmas. Okay. Is this someone else's train? What is happening? Uh-oh. Yeah, it's a train. Hi-yo. trained? Yeah. We did. Who mezzed that? Oh. I'm pretty sure this guy, I've got aggro. Top of the hole. I don't know if we want to try and fight this. This was not a sweet Christmas morning, that's right. Not in the slightest. And I didn't even get the pants. I don't think I want the pants anyway, though. They didn't have a stat on them. Hey, what's up, Taladar? Yes. This is just purely organic Pantheon play right now. I got this. You guys were lucky I came back in when I did. Wow. Ooh, it's close. Very close. Subtle references to the era of Brown using my item renaming vouchers: Belt of Infinite Taupe, Coffee Stained Leather Tunic, Mocha Weave Leggings. Very nice. It would be nice to have a cleric. This would also be a great opportunity for me to use the restrooms. I'm going to do that real quick while we recoup. I will be right back. Chair's got you guys covered. If you don't know Chair, if you haven't met, take the time to get to know Chair. Chair's great. I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right. Getting crowded in here. Eladamri, yes. Not a talent tree. It's a bit of a different system, but it is forthcoming. And it will allow you a little bit of room for expression based on what you really want to lean into with your class. It's not a talent tree in the sense that you're going to be altering your role, like your overall role, like ROLE role. Like I'm a healer rogue. Dude, come on. That is clearly rogue gear. Twin doesn't stack at all. Twin doesn't do a whole lot of damage either. So yeah, I definitely see where keeping hidden swing makes sense. I'm gonna put it back on the bar. I'm actually gonna switch. Oh, I can't do it. Ravage. How are we looking on damage? 74. Okay. Man, Necro's pulling weight. Alright, let's switch these. Good. Good. Can you give an example with the mastery and role change? Well, what I was saying is, with mastery, you won't be able to actually change role. So the class roles are pretty locked in. We do have the notion that you can. I've always called it like the idea of like flex. You can flex into kind of a secondary role for a period of time, depending on the class. For example, the rogue has several abilities that allow it to CC and do some general crowd control, but the rogue's main role is DPS, and so the mastery system is not designed to make a DPS class a healer or make a tank into a full-blown replacement DPS class or anything like that. It's more about how as a rogue, for example, I can, through mastery, I might choose to kind of empower my tricks of the trade side of things with, maybe my traps, my decoys, my, alchemical kind of toxin type things. Or I might want to focus more on like my toe-to-toe combat damage and, weapon-based abilities and those kinds of things. So it's like, which aspect of your class are you really wanting to emphasize? 5 damage, 1 strength, 1 dex dagger. What? I will take this and use it. Where is it on Weemoose? Come on now, Weemoose. No, it's not. Oh, someone's trying. Sorry, Eleanor. Thank you so much. So much. That's sick. You know what? Let's just go back to Daggies. Daggers. Hey, what's up, Unka? Your eyes do not deceive you, my friend. Your eyes do not deceive you at all. You will not be able to change it on the fly. No. You will be able to respec your mastery, but you know it'll definitely be one of those kind of ramping cost things, and you'll have to. You won't be able to do it out in the field. Dude, we got some. So we got strength and dex with that. So our dex is up to 13. Strength is up to 14. Why the ramping cost? Well, so you know, there's a couple of schools of thought. There's the school of thought that something like this should be permanent. You know, you make these choices and you live with it. You know, you are what you are. Kind of like, you know, with attribute points you invest at the beginning. Like, that's an extreme side, but you know, it's not. It has merit. And then there's the other side, which is like, you know, dual specking, and you know, you kind of change it out at your whim. Free respec, or you know, free changes and all that stuff. And you know, with any kind of design decision, you land somewhere that you feel like best represents your game, your goals. So the ramping cost is intended to kind of still create somewhat of a sense that the decision is an important one and worth thinking through carefully. That it has a weight. But you know, it's not intended to be, you know, ultimately box people out from the ability to try different things either. So it's kind of a middle ground between the two schools of thought. I'm taking these teeth. Taking them. Well, yeah, I hear that. Wolfgar said we don't want a let me head to town and change this dungeon, having to do that all the time kind of situation. But I don't really foresee mastery being that like volatile, like or transient, I guess. Like I don't know. I don't really. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Spectre, that's right. Yeah. If I need a leg, I'm gonna take a leg. You know? It is. If I need it, I'm gonna take it. That is the rogue's way. But yeah, you know, I understand that, but I think it'll end up playing out that I don't expect. I do expect people to make more kind of changes and try things towards the beginning as they're feeling out, but ultimately, like, I would expect with mastery people to kind of settle in on generally how they want to go, And I don't see that being something that changes from dungeon to dungeon kind of thing. Could be wrong, but you know, that's the part of it that we'll kind of wait and see how it plays out. I am such a loot ninja right now. I am sorry. Oh yeah, why am I not using corrosive brew? I do have it, but I'm not using it, and I think it's because I got in this mindset last time. I don't have a smoke trick on here either, or like, well, I don't know that I really need that right now. What can I remove? Let me go ahead and make some of these. I can take that off my bar. I want to take off root trap and put smoke. No, I don't need to. Like a ghost there. Oh no. Let me put that back. Sorry, just now I'm kind of interacting with this in real time, making these decisions. Let's actually put this in Z. Really felt the need to use that too much. And then corrosive brew. Hello? Oh yeah, where are you? I'm telling you what, guys, I mean it when I say like the key binding stuff is really throwing me for a loop. Let's see how it feels to do. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I think I might have been attacking the wrong one. Huh? Oh, I need an assist macro. I have an assist macro, but I need to update it. There's a brew. Here we go. Did anybody die? No, we're good. Okay. Good. Good. Does it make me want to put everything on one bar? No. No. We just chat. We just finally, after 11 levels, upgraded our boots. It really happened. Hey, Lone Dog, good to see you. Does it make you want to put everything on your bar? That's an interesting question. I mean, I like the decision making that comes from it. I like the fact that, like, just because there's tension sometimes. Like, man, I want this, but I really want that. Also, and you know, I don't have caltrops on there right now. Honestly, I probably would be using caltrops a lot more. wait. This costs an opportunity point as well. Scatter caltrops at the target. Yeah, I'll probably use that more. Poisons fell off. Or no, they didn't fall off. I hadn't applied it to the new weapon. But I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade. Yeah, Glorf. Oh yeah. Yeah. That is a definite. Yeah. Oh, there's lots of work to be done on the UI. Why do we hate Necros so much? We do not. No. No, we do not hate Necros. So the Fusoya, one of our game designers, currently has the highest level character internally, with like legit, you know, incognito game, like playing the game organically, and his highest level character, level 44, is a Necro. Necro is in the kind of annals of my MMO game playing over the years. Necro is absolutely in my top 5, if not my top 3 favorite, you know, classes of all time. The EQ Necromancer. I love the Necro. The last thing I want is for the Necro to feel broken or shafted or unloved or whatever. So, yeah, that's the Necro. Like several of the other classes, it needs some additional attention. It's lacking some things that it really needs. So, it'll come. It will come. And I think Necros are one of those classes too that, you know, depending on who you ask, there's some different opinions out there on like how poorly or how well they're faring at the moment. I know there's some people that would say they're in a really good place. Not perfect and not fully complete, but in a good place. And then there's some people who feel like, you know, it's borderline unplayable. And there's some hyperbole and all that and whatever. The bottom line is, yeah, Necros have more work coming their way, more updates and definitely some improvements and continuing to flesh out their kits. And like the other classes as well, Mastery is going to do a lot to kind of, you know, fill out what they're ultimately capable of and give them some cool options. Two dots, a nuke, and a pizza place. Trying to get a good sense of like how Corrosive Brew, the flow here, right? Because from stealth, I can, you know, lay the trap. Got shadow planning. I typically want to be backstabbing out of it, but I think that's probably the play, right? Stealth. You know, get up to 4 opportunity, lay the trap, shadow planning, backstab, then Corrosive Brew, then Bloodletter. That feels like the play. Let me try that. Backstab, Corrosive Brew. Oh, yeah, see, then I run out of opportunity. So then it's Blackjack, Corrosive Brew. And then I'm chilling with Twin Fangs and Hidden Swing. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I like that. I like that the kind of the. I'm not a big fan of rotations, but I do like having a sense of this is what I do to engage. You know what I mean? I don't like the idea that I'm constantly rotating the same pattern of abilities throughout the fight, but I like having a good sense of, okay, when I engage a target, this is typically what I'm doing. And the only difference being when shadow planing is down, so in this case, first blue, bloodletter, and now I'm chilling. Now I'm just like, okay. Backstab when it's up, hidden swing when it's up. That feels good. Summoners need a lot of work. They do. Yes, they do. Actually, Brian, I started this Let's Play series on an enchanter. Took the enchanter up level 10. Then did a summoner after that. Took the summoner up to 10 or 11. And the point of that was really getting like a hands-on feel of, you know, marrying a lot of the feedback we're getting on the summoner versus like actually playing it and experiencing it fresh, and came away with a lot of really good sense of what we want to do next with the summoner and some of the places they really need some help. It's going to be a really cool class, and definitely needs a little bit of love and a little restructuring, re-emphasizing, getting those pets feeling really good, responsive. There's a lot of work that when it's done, I think the class is going to feel really good. Is there a mail system that's been considered? Yeah. Yeah. Man, like what happened there? Why didn't the trap? Easily one of my biggest pain points with our game right now is that hotkeying situation. I wouldn't say it's too disturbing. There's a lot of, I don't even know the best way to put it. I'll say this: before I had any experience developing games, I had an idea of what I imagined it would be like as a developer of a game. And in some ways I was right, in some ways I was wrong. And one of the big, I think, conceptions that's out there that is like the expectation that developers like play their game, actually play, like legitimately play their game all the time. And that's just not true. Like, I'm not saying that there aren't certain cases where it's true, and some more than others and whatnot, but all of the development team has more playtime than anybody who's playing Pantheon, past, present, or future, because of the amount of time that we spend in the game developing certain things, checking certain things, setting up test cases. Like, there's a ton of time spent in the game, playing the game. But that's different from like organic, long play, legitimate character playtime. And you know, you have to factor in several things. You got to factor in, you know, working time, family time, time spent playing other games perhaps, and then on top of all that, like, okay, you know, sitting down and really just playing the game for fun, organically. So I don't think, I wouldn't say, what I'm responding to right now, by the way, is just, you know, there's been a lot of talk of late And it, you know, whatever. Like it makes sense as a talking point. But just like, you know, how much do developers play their own game? How much do the Pantheon devs play their own game? Like, you know, and as if it's like something to be concerned about. And I don't want that to be something that you guys are concerned about. Yep. I mean, you know, you guys can disagree. I'm just, but I'm, you know, the funny thing about it is like when I first started streaming, anytime that I would stream just playing the game, you know what the feedback was often? Why aren't you working on the game? It's so it's one of those things that's just, again, I'm just gonna put it out there, like we do spend a lot of time playing the game. We spend a ton of time playing the game in specific focus driven ways as we're developing X or testing Y. But taking the developer hat off and just sitting back as a player and playing the game organically, that's something we don't have as much time as you think we might to do. I know, for example, for me to stream like this and play the game like this, I'm using time that I would be spending with family, that I would be spending, you know, going for a run. You know, this is time in my day that I'm not working on the game, actively developing the game. I'm technically working on it by playing and testing the game and things like that. But this is time that's not being spent actively developing. So it's an interesting, hey, oh my goodness gracious. I was about to say rogue gloves dropped. Sleeping gloves. 1dex. Anyone else need? Bard needs it. Bard's. I hope the Bard doesn't mind if I take it. I hope they don't mind. But the reason I'm doing this is because it is important. So I'm not saying that it's not good to spend more time, you know, organically playing the game. That's the whole reason I'm doing this, and I value it highly, and I think it's important. And it's really good in particular to do it in this kind of way where I'm able to do it with you guys. We're able to talk about what's happening. You know, this is a very healthy use of time for sure. And as it relates to just Pantheon developing. So it's more just that, yeah, it's just perspective. And I'll be honest too, like you guys are amazing at like, and the community around this game has always been really good at really good feedback. You call attention to stuff, you know, paint good pictures, you create you know, in the feedback that you give, there's really good context. There's a very symbiotic relationship, you know, between how a game develops, the developers that are working on it, and the community that's, you know, investing the time to play it and know it and chew it up and taste it and savor it and find the parts that don't taste as good, and it's huge. Huge. Yeah, Moonsty, that's a great way to put it. Moonsty said, devs play their games the most. I know I spend like 20 plus hours on different pieces of my game all the time, but I've only played it through a couple of times. So like 20 hours in playtime and 2,000 hours in dev time. So it's a great, I mean, that's a developer perspective. Like it's a nuance in what we mean when we say play the game versus the amount of time that we spend in the game, working on the game, thinking about the game, tweaking, iterating, testing. It's one of the reasons why I'm always hesitant, you know, when people want to play test the game or want to get into like game testing at all with a game that you're passionate about playing, is that, you know, you have to be aware that testing and deving is very different than playing, and you got to be careful that one doesn't rob your joy of the other. But it's also a really good litmus test. I mean, the fact that I'm enjoying playing Pantheon as much as I am, the fact that I'm excited to get on here and play, that I'm excited to keep pushing these characters forward, like, that's always been really important to me. Because something I have been aware of, and I've read stories about this, where the problem you have is when you don't want to play your own game. That's when you have a problem. And I've read, I think it was the dev team behind, why am I blanking on the name of this? Why am I blanking? It's a battle royale game. Wild. I gotta think of it. No, not Fortnite. Some of the characters in the game are Bloodhound, the dude that like is constantly like injecting the stuff in himself and runs really fast. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. It's ridiculous. Apex Legends, my goodness, thank you. Yes. Anyway, I was reading an article that they put out a while back where I think Apex Legends was originally intended to be something different, but they were headed in a different direction with it initially. And then they made some changes, they kind of shook it up a little bit, and at any rate, there was a point where the devs ended up, they started playing their game outside of work hours, and they called this out in the article. They were like, there was a point in time where we started looking forward to when that, you know, it reached that point in the day where we could clock out and actually just play, and they would spend hours playing their game, and that's when, and they said like that's when we knew that we had something special, because it went from being we're just building this to we cannot wait to play this. And so I've always kind of carried that with me as like an abiding metric, that we should be very aware and cognizant of, do we feel an itch and a desire to get in and play Pantheon, even as we're building it and we are passionate about it and we, you know, are devoting all of this time to creating it. We also need to want to play it, and I'm pleased that has been the case. Like that's been the kind of the abiding case for our team and continues to be. So anyway, same thing happened to Fortnite. It used to be a defender base. Yeah, it's crazy how some of these like major games have made these like kind of meteoric shifts along the way. In some cases, like you wouldn't even be aware of what they were originally kind of meant to be, and versus what they are now. I think it's important that you stream to negate the negative comments told over the internet from people who don't know what's going on the inside of the development. Yeah, that's I'm definitely hopeful that it will help in that regard, for sure. For sure. Oh my goodness. I just jumped out of the zone. Ugh. Paid sponsor. What, for Apex? No. I'm glad all my buffs are gone. If there was a drop and noob emote, that would be the most used one by far, for sure. I never equipped those gloves today. There's another use. There's another use for the emote right there. Boom. Damage. I don't want to talk about the what I yeah. I don't want to talk about it. Resisted. How dare you? Alright, now we're chilling. Now we're chilling. T-Chief, there no way are you gonna get me to comment on something like that. No chance, my friend. Almost 10 years. Almost 10 years of being a member on the Pantheon forums. Wow. Moonsty, that's amazing. It has been quite the journey, my friend. De la good stuff. The buffs dropping when zoning, it's a byproduct right now of an intentional thing, which is the way buffs work currently, where you have to have them on your bar. If I buff you, I have to keep that buff on my bar or else the buff will drop off of you if I remove it from my bar. And that is to, at least up until now, the intention behind that has been to accentuate the limited action set. The fact that I have to make, you know, conscious, meaningful decisions about what abilities I have active, so that I'm not putting all my buffs on the bar, buffing everybody, then taking them off, and then, you know, not having to consider that. And one of the byproducts of that is, if you zone, like if the person who buffed you zones, and then you after them zone in to the same zone they just went into, then it's fine. Like, your buffs persist just fine, because the person that buffed you, when it does the check, is in the zone that you're in. But if a person buffs you and then you zone into a zone they're not in, which is like what just happened to me when I bounced out of here, then the buffs get stripped because it checks and that person's not there. So it's not a bug in the sense that it's like something broken. It's a byproduct of the way that it's set up. And what we're doing is discussing, like, essentially what we want to do about that, because that's not a desirable thing. What I'm not saying is, like, and it works that way and it's supposed to and it's good. It's more, okay, it sucks, so how do we want to fix it? And we'll have more info for you guys soon on how we're going to fix that. Ravager. You know what I don't like, chat? I don't like the fact that I'm sitting here and every second that goes by, I'm feeling myself getting more and more congested. Oh. I don't like that. Not one bit. Oh, the druids go deaf and dumb when you ask for sound. That's no good. That's no good at all. Guru. I'm gonna do a quick experiment here and see, oh no. Kinda wanna test and see how nicely Like a Ghost is working. Open my, concealment up a bit. Right. Cabby. Bro. a sneeze coming on. It may not happen, but... what we'd probably do is maybe do like a Discord feedback thread or something, just to see if there's any like uber creative thoughts towards some ways we can handle it. I know one thing that we've discussed a little bit was the idea of having like a concentration type mechanic where you have kind of an amount pool, if you will, of so anytime you cast a buff, like if I was to cast an HPAC buff and I have like three concentration points or whatever, then I would take one of those points. But I could cast that on anybody I wanted. I could cast it on a random stranger, I could cast it on a group mate, whatever, however many instances of that buff I wanted, but the instance of that buff represents a point of your concentration, and then I have 2 more points for, you know, any of the other buffs that I want to cast. And then that way it still effectively creates a sense of like, you know, I have to be mindful, or, you know, I'm having to be somewhat tactical and decisive on what I use, what buffs I use, but we can get rid of the you know, zoning issue or things like that. Buffs are tricky. Yeah, Brute. I will say this, Brutix. One of the main kind of like feel-related considerations is not wanting to lose the social aspect of buffing. Drive-by buffing, having buffs that, you know, higher level players are happy to, you know, be able to share with other players. But at the same time, we have to take into consideration the fact that, you know, even though people mean well, right now, you know, the new player experience in Pantheon is very, you know, you just end up getting kind of inundated with like gear and buffs and stuff from higher level players, and it dramatically changes the gameplay experience, right? Now, granted, the server's old. There's a lot of high level people. You know, a lot of them, you know, feel like they've kind of run out of things to do, and so it you know, obviously taking that in consideration as well, but there's it's striking that balance between I mean, even EQ did that to an extent, at least eventually, right? Where, you know, you couldn't, if you were going to buff somebody. I remember on the Shaman, the last time I took a character to like level 60 on the Shaman on green, E99 green. If I was hanging out in DC Tunnel and someone wanted buffs and they asked me, I would have to downrank my spells just to be able to cast buffs on lower level players. And I think that's a reasonable thing to consider. You know, like a level 50 in Pantheon maybe shouldn't be able to cast their level 50 buffs, or their level 40 buffs, or even their level 30 buffs, you know, on a low level player. Maybe it's something they might have to downrank you know, their HPAC spell for it to be able to land, but it's still helpful. It's still appreciated. It's still something that players would like to have. It's just not, you know, just so totally broken. And then also, yeah, like having buff scale to the player to some degree or things like that, but, you know. Yeah, it's something we're looking at, Joskar, yeah. It's a definite possibility. It's a definite path. Just, well, on things like buffs, for example. Like, if I'm... Ooh. Oh, I want those so bad. That's like, it's huge. That's like, that's buffing my hidden swing, but it's also buffing my twin fangs and my my toxins and stuff. Oh. Dude, that's so fun, man. I love that upgrades feel so good like that. Yo. Oh man. Okay. These on. Sweet. That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Every time I loot, I'm asking like, hey, does anybody need this? You know. Guys, this, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna keep complaining about it. Oh my goodness. That shift R, trying to shift R. Like you can hear my key presses, right? If I don't hit shift and wait a second and then hit R, it doesn't register. You guys can't hear the key presses? Okay. Well, you can see like watch the icon right here. This is shift plus R. I'm hitting shift plus R. But unless I hold shift for a split second and then hit R, if I try to roll it like I normally do, nope. Sorry. I'm gonna keep belly aching about that. If only there was a developer that was listening, you know? If I had a direct line to a developer to say, fix this, please. Whew. As an empath, I can sense your key presses, yeah. Thank you, Berg. I appreciate it. Thank you for helping me feel seen. Yeah, that's another aspect of the issue is the competing, where R and Shift R are kind of like sometimes having a hard time recognizing which one is actually being invoked. Shift R, but what's funny is Shift plus mouse 4 works great. Like that one, I've never missed that one. I don't know if it's why that would be different, but that one feels super responsive. So I don't know. No, mouse 4 is my first ability here. My backstab. But that one's like awesome. I mean, I got messy with that one there, but yeah, I mean, it's like Shift R is my trap. So I hit Shift R. God. Ah! Shift R. And then I can click to place it. That's something else we talked about the other day, is introducing for ground targeted related things, instead of having to activate it and then click, it just being like a key press and then it automatically going where your cursor is. I think that would be sick. or having that as an option. Not everybody wants it to work that way. Some people like it exactly like it is now, but having the option to make it just happen where your cursor is would be great. Okay, so we are going to be on the... Okay. Yeah, we're activating on press versus release is something else we've talked about. Again, and these are things all that should exist as options. Like, I should have the ability to go into my input settings and say, I want hotkeys and key presses to be on release or on press, because that is absolutely a subjective preferential type thing. Big time. Oh, looks like we got some friends. Ravenbark! Good old Ravenbark. Bonzo. Osend. Somnolent. Somnolent. Can I get a definitive answer on why we can't camp out the character selects? Decision made or something? No, it's not a decision. It's just, that's just something on the list of things to eventually clean up. Yo, Corey, what's up? What's new in Pantheon? We've got an extremely busy, full, exciting several months coming down the pike. There's we're about to release the newest upcoming POI in Silent Plains, the Wild Bloods, which is going to be a biggie, and we've got some wizard updates coming up. We've got summoner updates coming up after that. We've got mounts and taming. We're working on a whole new area, Badia Dakara, which is introducing a lot of new gameplay, a lot of new content, underwater. Gonna be a lot of improvements to, you know, the swimming system and just swimming movement and lots of things like that. Along with it, there's so much more. There's so much more. Yeah. Size and scale of the Wild Bloods POI. I mean, you guys can kind of run around it right now, right? Like, didn't some of it make it in? I'm good. I thought I was on the wrong one there for a second. There's craziness in here. Who's fighting what? Who's who? So, yeah, that happened. Wow. Ow. Where he says, nice. Main is a wizard. You guys absolutely knocked it out of the park with combat mechanics and world motion. Nice, man. Really happy to hear that. And excited for you to check out the upcoming wizard updates coming up. It's going to be a really good day. A good day. I guess what I'm getting at is, will it be more like from a depth of exploration angle? Is it just a different flavor of content, or is it expected to fill a certain gap between existing zones? It definitely is intended to be at a level range that is somewhat gap filling, and you know, it's there's more than meets the eye. I guess I can say that with the new POI coming out. You know, introduces the Wild Bloods as a relatively significant new kind of entry into the denizens of Terminus that are, you know, meaningful, lore rich threads to them. Some of which probably will reach far into like the game's life in terms of yeah, it's intended to fill a little bit of a gap where there's content's a little light at the level range that it is. There'll be some quest stuff, yeah. Hey, Joppa, I haven't played in a few months due to Black Moon dying. Any thoughts of letting us move here? Hormona? We're gonna have some info on that relatively, you know, soon, as far as how we're gonna handle server stuff and player pop stuff. We'll be making more of a kind of a formal announcement that when the time comes. Definitely some things we can address. Population situation, and in doing so, hopefully we'll bring some people back. Yeah, well, yeah, T-Chief, you're right. I agree. The Rulu have a lot more intended for them, and it's their time is coming to get fleshed out more. In fact, Eastern Plains has quite a few POIs and points of content that need to be fleshed out more and updated. Like the Dead Shoals, that's a big one. Tower of Smolder. The Rulu camps for sure need to be fleshed out a bit more and just kind of developed, like the Rulu themselves. I mean, you know, yeah. I'll save the spoilers, the lore spoilers, but yeah. Scatterweave headband. Hey. Huh. The first level 7 or 7 damage weapon I've seen. Strength and wisdom. I mean, you know what I mean? Are all the classes and races in the game now? No, we still have some races, and the Bard class is not in the game yet. Shouldn't my dagger be in the offhand? I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and preemptively say probably. Just, you know, just because. But let's check. So with ambidextrous, gain unique bonuses based on your offhand weapon type. So piercing offhand is gonna give melee haste. Slashing reduces offhand damage. The stun one is kind of like not super desirable. I don't know. Do we switch? Because I don't want to like invoke diminishing returns. We need to rework that aspect of ambidextrous. I don't like the stun component. The way that it messes with group diminishing returns on stun is kind of problematic. But I don't know. Do we go hammer main hand for a bit? Switch out with waylay? That could be interesting. We haven't done that yet. And then maybe do, well, we'll do this guy in offhand just because stats. Kind of feeling that, chat. I want to try that. Where's waylay? Get this skill up a little bit. I think Wild Bloods is going to be nice and juicy. I do. I really do. Wolfgar, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say too much about it, but I will say that there's going to be a few kind of fresh mechanics and things that are going to be like feel pretty new and pretty interesting for them. Not only with the Wild Bloods themselves, but the environment and some different things. So there'll definitely be some. We're definitely stretching into some things that we've kind of wanted to do and are taking the opportunity with Wild Bloods to experiment and prove them out. But I'm not going to really say a whole lot more than that. I want it to be as fresh as possible. You guys get in there. Okay, be honest. What's in the cup? Okay, so Framinal. It sounds like this might be a I don't know how many streams of mine you've seen, but it's kind of part of the lore. There is, I actually have one handy right here. There's this magical substance known as Zip Fizz. They come in these little tubes, like this. And I'm not a coffee guy, but I am a caffeine guy. And what I do is get ice water and mix in these Zip Fizz, which is like, you know, caffeine, lots of vitamins, yada yada. But I don't. So there's something about like the heaviness and like the hotness of coffee that, and I don't like the taste of coffee enough to enjoy like cold coffee. So this is my alternative, and I typically do like 2 of those little tubes a day. It's like 80 milligrams of caffeine per tube, so or 60. But it helps me get more water. And yeah. Wild Bloods is definitely going to be higher level than the than BRK, or at least well, there are some things in BRK that or it was the low level, but the whole of Wild Bloods. Have I tried cold brew coffee? I have. I don't know. It's just something about. I just don't really love the taste of coffee. And I mean, now, granted, I can get coffee to where I like it and it tastes good, but it's a lot of extra stuff, you know, that I'd rather not, you know, ingest just to make something taste good. My first time using Waylay, so I'm curious how kind of work it's putting in. I'm definitely feeling some like opportunity starving. I feel a little starved of opportunity sometimes. Damn. I'm way off track that fight. Water is good. It is good. Water's lame. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's definitely water in most things. No, you can get a reasonable amount of water without just straight up drinking water, but you know. That was supposed to be a trap, and I ended up using Bloodletter because I was close enough to it. That's a ding, ladies and gentlemen. That is a ding, and you know what that means. With level 12 comes Flash Bomb. Oh my. I gotta try this. I gotta try this. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna try it. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Wow. Oh, that's awesome. That is so good. With great power comes great responsibility. Raminal, will Wild Bloods feature more caster type loot? I know that there is some. how much and what it is and all that. I know it looks freaking cool as well. Like, really cool. Very unique. But how much and what it is exactly? Fine. That's obviously a rogue item. Whatever. Oh man. Guys, I'm gonna probably need to start getting close to calling it a day here. Let's see. Yeah, Key and Peele. I'm glad somebody recognized it. Yes. Remy Rotten, nice. Awesome to hear. That really does mean a lot to hear that kind of stuff. I'm glad that you're enjoying the game. That was an awesome group. And that was about as, I mean, you know, a couple of wipes, or not full wipes, but a couple of blips. But for the most part, that was pretty smooth down there, cave. We got to level 12. We got Flash Bomb. That's a big deal. I'm very excited about that. And yeah. All right. I am going to go ahead and log out here. Let me actually... A little bit of a safer place. A little bit safer. Works. And, yeah, I've got some super fun, super secret stuff that I need to get working on here. We've actually got a really exciting meeting coming up a little bit later this evening. It's actually been a series of meetings that we've been doing on the new Badia de Cara zone, and just kind of meeting as a team to work through all the different elements of that, make sure everybody knows exactly what they're doing, and you know, we've already been chipping away on several aspects of it. So these are all things that soon will be, I don't want to talk into the mic. What do you mean talking to the mic? It's as if you guys want to hear what I'm saying, which I just don't understand. You know, like, what are we doing here? You know? I don't know. I need a different mic. I love this mic, by the way. This is the RE20, the Electro Voice RE20. It's a great mic. But for streaming, it's not great because You can't move around. It's just way too, like, it just needs, like, you know, direct input, and I don't love that. It's okay for broadcasting, for podcasting, where you're just sitting there and you're just like, but I don't know. Anyway, more LEDs, yeah. Hello, why am I here? Rayclaw, that's a great question. I am just wrapping up, so, you know, if you were here for Pantheon, then, you know, you just missed that. But there will be more streams to come. So if you were here for Pantheon, just, you know, tune in next time. I stream every Monday and Wednesday with the, you know, I guess the sneaking possibility that there could be a you know, extra stream here or there on a different day. I will say this. I do want to at some point introduce at least one day or one time during the week where I play something that I'm currently interested in playing that's not Pantheon. So, you know, even if only 5 people are there to watch, like, it's still time that I could spend streaming and time that I could spend, you know, getting some gaming in, because I do that here and there anyway. And I've been sitting there, you know, playing things and thinking, you know, I could just be streaming right now. Maybe I should just stream right now. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like. But anyway, every Monday and Wednesday for sure are Pantheon days. We got a lot of stuff coming up, guys, that currently working with marketing, communication, and various others to figure out the best way to plan for having some of these streams be dedicated to more, you know, I know you guys want info and details and beans and all that stuff, and absolutely you do and should. And we're going to be doing some of that on these streams, and we're working out kind of a timing for that and a schedule for that. Obviously, we're going to continue to do our dev diaries and dev blogs and whatnot. But anyway, every Monday and Wednesday, stay tuned. Hopefully the YouTube thing went well. It seemed like it went okay. I want to keep, you know, refining and improving that, but hopefully on the YouTube side of things, that will continue to be a place where people can go if that's where they would rather be. But yeah. Oh yeah, we got to do some arc raiders. That's for sure. I'm excited about that, actually. It's going to be fun. Sorry. Yes, the mic. Yes. And Fellowship, that would be cool too. Yeah. Kick League, that's actually, yeah, that's another one that I wanted to try. Well, we'll see. We might do a poll here and there too. Like, hey, for this time or for this night or this day or whatever it ends up being, like, what game would you guys be most interested in seeing? We can do some polls and make it a little more interactive, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out, my friends. Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate the subs, the follows, continuing to support the channel, being here and hanging out with me. Thank you for your support of Pantheon, and onward and upward we go. Excited for more to come. I'll see you guys, if not before, on Monday. Have a happy Halloween. Stay safe. Take care. And until next time, adios, my friends. See you soon.
My name is Joppa, Pantheons. Papa, sit tight while I drop this. Or better yet, your eminence, with a game that's imminent. I call it the year of imminence, yeah. While I sit on my throne of player corpses, I resurrect the sources of the struggle. Think this is a hell level, you must be soulless, yeah. To all the haters that call us a scam, we've got a plan. We're making worlds, not games. So sit back in your high chair with a controller, kid. Let Papa Joppa school you with our old school flow, yeah. It's tough being a king, to follow in the footsteps of Brad, but I'm up to the task, this is rad. Don't feel bad, cause I'm doing what I can, yeah. This is Joppa, the papa of Pantheon, just skinned a fawn, stretching his leather is no feet. Kick back, relax and eat while I feed you my meat, yeah. I'm your eminence with a game that's imminent. I call it the year of innings. We've got no fuzzy trolls or nose. My music will charm you, cause at the moment that's the only charm you can do. I'm like a bard that's coming to a game for you, yeah. And what's this I hear about group mobs? If I see another post about it, I'm going off. Bring the balance back and beat these mobs. Never needed chevrons all along, yeah. Hopefully my lyrics don't leave you a scar before we've had a chance to bring you the scar. I know my rhymes are sharp cause I used a stone dropped from a gob. These goblins dropping so much I think I'll build me a hall, yeah. Some may call me a thug, but it's just a bug. I'm working as intended from 9 to 9 to bring you a game that's sublime, yeah. So join a guild or look up builds, fight in the caves or maybe the streets. The results are the same, our gameplay is peak. Tonight I'm solo, so I ain't going solo. Maybe I'll mine or skin some sheep. Either way I'm dropping this beat, bringing the heat, yeah. Our team may be small, but I say we're sleek. Always on fleek, making good content ain't cheap. But let's get deep, the experience is steep. Perception seems weak, got patches this week was a hell of a feat.